The year was 1993. I got a Sega Mega Drive for Christmas. It was the second model, and it came with Sonic 2 and Ecco the dolphin. Personally, I didn't like Sonic as much as I like sea creatures. I did play Sonic, but mostly I played Ecco. The cool thing was that I was the best at Ecco. I beat the game many times, and I'm the best player in school. When the sequel was announced, I searched everywhere for the release date. I found it in a Sega magazine. I saved my money up for a long time and got the game on launch. I even skipped school just to play it. My parents found out and realized that I was addicted to this franchise. I had merchandise and posters of Ecco. My parents tried to get me into more things like sports, clothes, and even girls. But not even that would stop my obsession. It has been years now since I liked Ecco. I forgot about Ecco around the time when the Nintendo 64 came out. I was playing different consoles like Xbox, PS3, and 3DS, and I didn't have a Dreamcast, so I didn't play Ecco, Hero of the Future. I also have a job at a game store. I have a wife and children, and a fine home to live in. After work, I would go home to greet my wife and children. However, my nostalgia for Ecco the dolphin would later come back to haunt me. And to this day, I guess I could say I'm still skeptical about what happened. One night at the dinner table, I was talking to my kids about Christmas as it was December. I was talking about my favorite Christmas memories. I told them about the Sega Mega Drive, but nothing about Ecco was brought up. Today was Saturday, usually a day when most kids come, as they don't have school. Not only did we have modern games, but we also had retro games in our cabinets and on the shelves. Then, I was suddenly greeted by a woman who was in a rush. "Hello there. Welcome to Insane Games. How can I help?" I asked. The woman was panting and taking deep breaths. She then put a Mega Drive cartridge on the desk, and she stopped panting. I was taking money out of the cash register to give to her, as she was basically selling it. However, I turned my head to see that, well, she was gone. After her sudden disappearance, I put the money back in and stamped on a price tag of £1 and 19 pennies. Before I placed it in the cabinet, I noticed it had duct tape on with the words Ecco written on it. I was smiling with delight to see Ecco has come back to me. Instead, I kept it behind the counter so nobody could buy it or play it. I wanted to play it more than anyone else. Nostalgia really hits different when you're an adult, I guess. When my shift was coming to a close, I put the £1 19 pennies into the cash register and took the Mega Drive from the workshop and brought it home. I waited till midnight to play. I snuck the Mega Drive cartridge in my suitcase so nobody could see it. I guess they weren't really paying attention to my presence, were they? I had supper with my family as we were talking about Christmas gifts they wanted. Ben, who was only 9, wanted a 3DS and Fire Emblem. Lucy, who was 6, wanted a fur-real cat that makes noises and can eat the food that comes with it. My wife wanted a makeup kit, and I said, "I only need the love of you guys." Everyone was happy after that.
"I love you, honey,"
said my wife and kissed me on the cheek. "I love you too," I replied. Soon enough, everyone was asleep. The kids were asleep, my wife was asleep, but I wasn't sleeping. I was awake to play my childhood. Unplugged the Wii and plugged the Mega Drive and put in that supposed Ecco the Dolphin cartridge. I turned the console on and I was greeted by the famous intro. However, this time, after several years, it wasn't the same as I remembered. It was different. It only had echo. There was no music and the water was blood red. A little odd at first, but this could have been a bootleg as it was a cartridge stamped with tape alongside the name of the game written on. The title screen was nothing but a black screen that had plain white text saying, Ecco. Regardless of the state of the game, I pressed start. Something was off and was not right. Ecco had an evil grin on his face, and the music was reverse and glitchy. I was a little freaked out, but I shivered it off. I moved around the water. I found out Ecco could breathe forever. At least that would make the game easier than it already was. However, he couldn't dash, so I was going slowly. As I moved Ecco around, I noticed dead fish, jellyfish, starfish, and sharks. I found the first dolphin. He looked frightened. I moved Ecco towards him / her, but the dolphin kept moving further away when I got closer. When Ecco caught up and touched the dolphin, the screen went black and a 16-bit scream came out of the speakers. I turned the volume down so nobody could hear. I was scared and I took some deep breaths. It showed a picture of Ecco looking upset. The text above wrote,
Help me, please.
I am stuck in this murderous body and I am forced to kill.
I knew Ecco was a video game character, but I felt sorry for him. I was moving this evil Ecco through the blood-red water again. I didn't want to kill anything, but I had to see what comes next. I moved forward to see 2 dolphins. They were injured. I went up to them, and 2 demonic screams were heard through the speakers. Ecco was soon back on screen, even more sad than before.
Why have you continued killing in my evil body? Get me out of it. Put the controller down or stop playing.
I followed his orders and dropped the controller. I was fed up with the game. I went to the console to turn it off. Suddenly, I heard the dashing sound. That evil Ecco was dashing and controlling himself. I was surprised to see him controlling himself. He kept going up to more dolphins and killing them, wiping the whole population of them out. The normal Ecco was back on screen, but crying. It wasn't 16-bit cartoon crying. It sounded real, and it made me drop a tear. The evil Ecco was back on screen. He went down to a dead dolphin and got a whole load of blood. He used the blood to make the Satan symbol. It turned into metal. An evil Ecco jumped out of water, and the game froze. What the hell did I just play? I said to myself. I turned the system off and yanked the cartridge out. I tossed the cartridge into the bin. I never wanted to see it ever again. The next morning was Sunday. I didn't have to go to work today, as we have Sunday workers. It was 4 days till Christmas, and we were putting presents under the tree. Ben was shaking his present to see if he was getting a 3DS. Good thing I work at a game store, as that present he is shaking is going to be his best. Lucy was feeling her present to see if it was that electronic cat she wanted. We're made out of money, so she will be happy on Christmas Day. Me and my wife were watching the news. However, the thing they were talking about caused me great sorrow and fear. They were talking about dead dolphins found in the ocean. It was the same number of dolphins that Ecco killed. They also pulled out a huge metal satanic symbol. I was shocked, but I tried my best not to notice.
Those poor little dolphins.
My wife said sadly, I guess we all die someday. Guess it's life. I replied, I still remember the game and news report by heart today. I haven't played Ecco ever since. I never want to play Ecco. Ecco may be good on the inside, but a murderer outside. He will kill the whole population of dolphins in the world. If you see Ecco the dolphin merchandise, get rid of it. If you see any Ecco games, destroy them. The more you play Ecco, the more he kills. He is a Satanist.